Triceratops Encounter showcased the operations of a real-life Jurassic Park, an interactive walkthrough experience that will be home to some of the most realistic animatronics ever created. 3 Triceratops, that would aim to convince you that dinosaurs had been brought back to life. This short-lived attraction was eventually just left abandoned inside the Universal Park before it would evolve into something with a little more teeth.
There is no safety or security.
All park security systems have shut down. If anyone is not ready, I'm coming to help you.
You didn't say the magic word.
There it is. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
In 1993, Jurassic Park opened at the movie theaters. Based on the 1990 Michael Crichton book, this groundbreaking film used the latest technology to bring dinosaurs back to life. Steven Spielberg's blockbuster thrust dinosaurs into the limelight. No longer extinct, Jurassic Park would be everywhere you looked. It would be from this book that would inspire Jurassic Park the ride. This huge attraction would add major thrills to Universal Studios Hollywood, while letting visitors get close to realistic looking dinosaurs. This exciting new experience opened on June 21st, 1996.
It's so great, you know. You go through the doors of Jurassic Park, it's like being in Jurassic Park, and you see very realistic dinosaurs.
Well, you're no stranger to those, are you? I mean,
No.
you're a dinosaur man.
That's right, I am the dinosaur man. So you see those, and then then things go wrong.
It would only be a matter of time until the hit attraction would be eyed for the park down in Florida, once considered to be built on the land that is now the current site of Men in Black Alien Attack. Jurassic Park wouldn't come to Universal Studios Florida, it would become one of the highlight islands of a brand new theme park. Originally planned as Cartoon World, Universal's second Orlando park had trouble securing rights from Warner Brothers. Instead, Universal would use that extremely popular Jurassic Park brand to open not just the ride located in Hollywood, but a whole land based around it. A theme park that would immerse you into fully developed islands, called Islands of Adventure, located directly across from the entrance. Over the lagoon, visitors would be able to step into the real dinosaur zoo, Jurassic Park, built by John Hammond. This would be the park that would be built if everything had gone right. Located in Orlando, the island of Isla Aventura, which translates in Spanish roughly to Islands of Adventure, would be the site of the third and what was hoped would be the most successful attempt at launching Jurassic Park. This time, John would build it in Orlando. After the incident at Isla Nublar in 1992, Hammond had been searching for a place to build his perfect park. The island was located by InGen sometime in 1992 and would be developed for 7 years before opening in 1999. Multiple species of dinosaur would be transported from Site B, Isla Sorna, to the Florida park. However, Isla Aventura would not be the perfect park, and unsurprisingly, another incident would occur when several velociraptors were being transported. It would be this story that would open as part of Universal Studios' brand new theme park.
Jurassic Park, what we really set out to do was basically pick up where John Hammond left off after that small mishap in Costa Rica. And what we wanted to do here at Islands of Adventure is really build the park that John Hammond would have created, given the opportunity to have a second shot at it.
Most visitors, however, just assume you would be on Isla Nublar, location of the original park, and much of this original backstory has been lost over the years, mostly left the legend. While many concepts and ideas were considered for the land, inside would be the Jurassic Park River Adventure, Pteranodon Flyers inside Camp Jurassic, the Discovery Center, the central hub of Isla Aventura, the place where scientists would hatch dinosaurs and house the island's control room, and finally, in the southern section of the island, the herbivore section, where you could get the chance to meet a fully grown dinosaur at the Triceratops encounter.
The marquee to Triceratops right here. So up there where you have those indentations, it'll say Triceratops encounter.
Our next stop is the Triceratops encounter, where our guests get the opportunity to see a living, breathing dinosaur up close and personal.
While the huge dinosaurs designed for the riverboat ride were impressive and cutting edge, if stood close by and examined, they could clearly be seen to be automated. For this experience, a team would need to design a way to make a dinosaur that was thoroughly convincing, that could even be touched. The walkthrough experience, located close to the Discovery Center, allowed guests to head behind the scenes and see how the park's dinosaurs were cared for. The story allowed you to see park operations.
You actually meander a path, and as you go that path, you're told a story.
This is a remote security station for the game wardens. We have a few of them. We have transponders on the animals. The green dots represent herbivorous animals, and the red dots, which we have on the northwestern side of the island, are the carnivorous animals.
First, you pass by the remote security station that tracked all the animals on the island. You could look at the different monitors and see the different areas of the park and where the animals were. You would also see the food compound, which was one of the locations that food was distributed throughout the park. The field research outpost showcased employees researching and observing the park's dinosaurs.
Our oldest, Sarah, is a 7-year-old Triceratops, and she's the one we'll be seeing in a little while. The Triceratops, they're herbivorous. They strictly eat plants. We have to add nutritional supplements because we don't know what their nutritional requirements are. We're constantly in a process of refinement. We're writing the book. We're writing the book on dinosaur nutrition.
Throughout, props recognizable from the movie could be seen. A narration explained each area on a fictional channel called the Jurassic Journal. For the keen-eyed, the queue featured a missing rifle and night vision goggles that could be found in the Jurassic Park River Adventure. While the majority of the walkthrough was a queue for the main event, the different stations were each interesting to see and explore in their own right. The real meat of the tour was about to come.
Oh, just one more thing before we go into see Sarah. Please, no sudden movements, and no flash photography, and no loud talking. She's separated from her herd and she's a bit skittish. We've got her sedated, but she is, after all, a large animal, and we must be safe about these things.
In small groups, you would head inside an enclosure and get up close with a real Triceratops. The 3 Triceratops inside the paddocks were named Topper, Sarah, perhaps a reference to the Land Before Time, and Chris, who was named after one of the attraction's designers who sadly had passed away during the development of the attraction in a ski accident. Each of the 3 animatronics were 24-foot long Triceratops that were designed with help from the latest NASA robotics. The impressive creatures would act, sound, and even smell like a real dinosaur. Subtle body movements, breathing, and blinking eyes were all part of the experience as the unwell creature was being examined. It would even be able to urinate. Luckily for this one, there was no smell involved. When you gotta go, you gotta go. As the unwell creature was examined, a lucky few were able to touch the animatronic itself, and an unlucky few could even get sneezed on. Clever girl.
She can use the frill. Guys, I think your sedatives are starting to wear off. Guys, I think we're gonna have to cut this one short. On behalf of Mr. John Hammond and InGen Technologies, building tomorrow out of yesterday, I'd like to thank you for stopping by, guys, but unfortunately, I'm gonna have to have John show you guys out this way.
The main robotics were designed and engineered by Spar Aerospace, the same company that built the robotic arm for the space shuttle. The design and look was made by Hall Train Studio, a company that has now for over 2 decades created almost exclusively natural history projects for museums, film, television, and theme parks. The 8-ton Triceratops would be a state-of-the-art animatronic, and Hall Train Studio won a 1999 Design Engineering Gold Award for this project. They actually would go on to work with Universal again, nearly a decade later, to design the realistic singing toads using the Wizarding World of Harry Potter show. Over 60 storyboards of the motion they could achieve were created when designing the dinosaur. For a company that had only built space and defense components, making an animatronic sneeze would be a new territory. The brief stated that they would create something that would amaze children, offer a realistic experience, and allowed supervised, direct contact of various areas of the animatronic. Most importantly, it had to appear alive. It also stated that attraction must not be a letdown after the park's thrill rides and had to keep the interest of children. To get an idea of how the experience should feel, the team visited a petting zoo in Toronto and observed children encountering live animals. One thing they noted was that children attached human emotional states to the animals they saw, and this helped influence the design of the creature, specifically the eyes. Each eye alone had 6 motors in it and would be so realistic that the iris would even dilate when the dinosaur blinked. With the ease of information around the world increasing, the design had to be accurate to what was known about dinosaurs. Every single movement, expression, and interaction would be based around creating an emotional attachment with one of the 3 Triceratops animatronics. The controls to operate the large dinosaur were hidden out of the way to really try and convince children that it could be real. For other guests, the spectacle was seeing something so large that looked pretty realistic. As the largest of the park's islands at 21 acres, the Jurassic Park section offered a mixture of thrills, interaction, and something for those of all ages.
My job's a little dangerous. Sarah is a wild animal, so I do need to treat her with the utmost respect. I'm very comfortable with Sarah, but I never want to let my guard down.
So how does the Triceratops work? I mean, is it a sophisticated robot underneath the skin? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, no, that's a living, breathing dinosaur, and the only way you can create one of those is with DNA.
While modest compared to the high thrills of some of the attractions in the park, Triceratops Encounter offered a convincing, immersive experience and made you really feel like you were traveling through areas of a real-life dinosaur park. The team members working the attraction worked really hard to try and immerse guests into the experience of encountering a real-life Triceratops.
It is just a delay. That's all it is. All major theme parks have delays. When they opened Disneyland in 1956, nothing worked.
Yeah, but John, if the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists.
This attraction wasn't delayed and opened with Islands of Adventure.
Excuse me, I lost this animal I was delivering.
What's she look like?
She's 24 feet long, she's got big horns, she weighs about 3 tons.
Yeah, sure, mister. If I see your dinosaur, I'll let you know, all right?
Thanks. Sarah? Look at
A new universe of theme parks, resorts, and nightlife. Universal Studios Escape. Are you ready?
What it did have was issues. Often they arose with the animatronic, causing delays and the closure of the attraction. Attendants often blamed this on a huge bowel movement that had to be cleaned up, or a reaction to the medicine given. While the attraction was a great immersive experience, the robot technology was ahead of its time and troublesome. It didn't help that it was always just mostly forgotten by those visiting the park, who preferred the more obvious larger offerings nearby. Many of those who did enter were expecting more than just a short animatronic scene. It was also costly to maintain, both the robotics required for the incredibly complicated animatronic and the skin that covered it. The skin required a lot of maintenance and upkeep to look realistic. Normally 2 of the 3 paddock operated at one time, with a third being worked on. The whole experience was often closed during the first year of the park's opening. The experience was renamed in the early 2000s to the Triceratops Discovery Trail, to try and better convey that it wasn't a full attraction inside, but a walkthrough experience. The sign outside was made to stand out more with bright yellow and red to try and draw people in, as many people walking past just didn't know it was even there.
Hold on just a second there. Hold on, Maria. Where'd she get you at? Right here on your... Okay. You helped us get that dinosaur.
Reviews were mixed. Some loved it and really bonded with the Triceratops, and some just thought,
that is one big pile of shit.
It did add balance to the attractions at Islands of Adventure, offering more to do than just thrill rides. Many children were convinced that it was real. However, many older guests didn't believe it was worth the queue wait. One of the biggest complaints were the breakdowns, and that it would just stop working while they were interacting with the dinosaurs. As early as 2002, it was rumoured that the Triceratops encounter could be closing for good. In 2002, the attraction was used for the first time as part of Halloween Horror Nights, when it was transformed into Project Evolution. The whole Jurassic Park land was transformed into a scare zone, with the house using the animatronics with strobe lights to try and make them look like they were moving faster and appear more threatening.
The Universal designers used an existing attraction called Triceratops Discovery Trail to create this haunted maze.
Our Triceratops animatronic in Discovery Trail isn't very threatening. It's not very scary. So what we did to remedy this is we built this stockade around here, and we busted up all these big holes through here to make it look as though something violent and terrifying happened in here. Then to try and get heavy, quick movement inside, we have high-powered strobes placed around the stockade, and as they fire quickly, it makes it appear as though this animal is moving very quickly.
It would once again be used the following year for the House Jungle of Doom. The less said about that, the better. After being used for Halloween Horror Nights, the experience continued to open in an often shorter form, with guests entering through the exit and skipping the props in the queue that made the encounter feel like it was a behind-the-scenes look at a dinosaur zoo. During 2003, 4, and 5, the Discovery Trail operated seasonally with the shorter experience. In 2005, the attraction was closed permanently. When asked why it wasn't always open, Universal stated that it was an adjustment based on guest demand. Many thought it was a long way from the fierce Triceratops shown in the TV ads, to what was in fact a sick dinosaur shifting its weight standing in one place. For years, the dinosaurs sat in place abandoned in the park with their skins removed. However, life always finds a way. In 2009, rumours began to circulate that the Triceratops Discovery Trail would reopen. Work could be seen to be happening in the area, and permits had been filed that Perry Automation Inc. had been working on the robot since 2008. It had survived. In December 2010, the walkthrough attraction would once again allow guests to interact with the once touted, most complex animatronic in the world. Using its previous name, the Triceratops Discovery Trail would offer the shorter version, entering through the exit 5 years after it had originally been closed. Universal stated that the resort was testing the experience with guests and adding a little extra capacity to Islands of Adventure, which was expecting huge crowds to see the brand new Wizarding World of Harry Potter. After just 2 weeks, the experience closed again, unknown if it would once again return. In May 2011, it again reopened. As people exited, they were asked to fill out a survey on the experience. How would you rate it, and what did you see it do? After a few months, on July 31st, 2011, it closed. It would never reopen again. The costs outweighed the benefits of having it open. Much of the experience was left unused in the park. Many rumours stated that animatronics could be moved to the river ride. Over time, pieces were removed from the attraction, and some were sold in the prop shop. For years, the shell of the attraction just sat abandoned in the busy theme park. Some work in the area was again spotted in early 2015, right by the former entrance to Triceratops Encounter. A new dinosaur meet and greet was under construction. Over Memorial Day 2015, the new Raptor Encounter opened, where you could meet Lucy or Ethel and take a picture, if you were quick. Now not an animatronic, but a puppet designed by Michael Curry.
The dinosaurs are almost like pets.
She thinks I'm her mother, you know.
The opening day Trike attraction was one of the memories that children who visited during its operation fondly remembered. While unreliable and somewhat disappointing for those expecting a full ride or show, with the success of the new Raptor Encounter, it just goes to show how ahead of its time the original Triceratops experience really was, and how great it could have been if you went in knowing what to expect and it actually worked. Though, admittedly, meeting a raptor is a little bit more thrilling. Other Universal parks around the world have offered the opportunity to meet a Triceratops and still do today. Some can even walk. You may even spot some references to the old attraction in the Jurassic World Tribute Store, which opened in 2021. In 2018, permits were filed for the removal of what remained of Triceratops Encounter. When the original attraction opened in 1999, a newspaper outlet talking about the brand new park said that they appreciated the technology in Triceratops Encounter, but they would prefer to see a pen full of hungry, snarling, charging velociraptors instead. Little did they know that 22 years later, on the very site of the former walkthrough experience, Universal would invite you to head into the Raptor pen itself, this time on a state-of-the-art roller coaster. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Expedition Islands of Adventure. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to join the expedition. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram for updates on upcoming episodes. And a special thank you to our Patreons for supporting the channel. We will see you next time.